everybody, it's Heidi Fang here, and I'm joined with our Review Journal sports columnist Ed Graney, and right now we're going to break down our grades for the 2021 season, starting with today, coaching and special teams. Ed, first of all, I got to get into this with special teams. They had a lot of great awards, starting with Daniel Carlson, four-time AFC Player of the Week. What did you make of the special teams, and what grade did you give them?
Heidi, I'd give the special teams an A-. I'm going to tell you in a little while why it's not an A, but think about this. Pro Bowler punter A.J. Cole. We know what Daniel Carlson did. 5 walk-off kicks as a place kicker. There's a reason that Mike Mayock, when he was the general manager, re-upped these both guys on contracts. They are terrific. They were terrific all year. They've got them under contract for years now. It's a great decision by the Raiders to keep them in the organization. Returns, they weren't as explosive as other teams, but I will say this: Hunter Renfrow to punt returner is what you want. Someone to secure the ball. He had a few drops, but for the most part, Hunter Renfrow secured the ball, didn't turn it over. That's what you want in your punt returner. You want the ball back for your offense, right? Kick returners, I think they can be more explosive in the future. Maybe it's a kid someone you get out of the draft. Maybe it's a free agent. They need to develop more kick returners who are going to give them at least a chance to be explosive on returns. Here's the reason they're not an A, Heidi Fang. Peyton Barber. Why are you recovering the ball, a kickoff at the 2-yard line in an AFC wildcard playoff game at Cincinnati? Let that thing go out of bounds. Your offense is going to start in better field position. That's why I can't give this unit an A or A plus, Heidi Fang. They get an A minus for Carlson, for A.J. Cole, for Hunter Renfrow. Great job by interim head coach Rich Bisaccia, who also coaches the special teams this year. Terrific unit this year, the special teams.
And let's not forget Trent Seagad, who can wrestle without his thumbs, according to A.J. Cole. Can we give him 2 thumbs up? And Ed, we've also got to mention Rich Bisaccia. 12 games he took over, led this team to the playoffs. What kind of grade did you give to Rich Bisaccia?
Well, let's go back for a second, Heidi, because there's 2 coaches. I'm going to grade John Gruden, and I'm going to grade Rich Bisaccia. John Gruden gets a C minus. 3-2 when he left under the email scandal. They went 3-0. Did a little smoke and mirrors, but look, they were 3-0. You can't argue with that. Then they were 3-2 before he left. So John Gruden gets a C minus, just about average. Rich Bisaccia, Heidi, A plus. Now listen, a lot of people are going to say, no, they lost 5 of 6 at one point. They had that Kansas City blowout loss. This guy took over a complete mess, drama, turmoil, all the off-field nonsense. He brought them to 10 wins and a playoff spot. I give Rich Bisaccia an A plus for all the craziness he had to deal with in getting this team to the playoffs for the first time since 2016, the second time since 2002. Coordinators, Gus Bradley. Heidi, I don't know who the head coach is going to be, but I would push hard if I'm owner Mark Davis to keep Gus Bradley. He came in and revamped a horrible defensive side to a very respectable one this year. I would keep Gus Bradley on the payroll. Now, here's another one, and it's going to be harder to keep on. Greg Olsen. We're going to talk about the offense as well. I didn't think it was a good year for the offense. I won't be surprised, depending on who the head coach is, that if he wants new coordinators before the offense and defense, he'd take offensive coordinator and move on from Greg Olsen and get his own offensive coordinator. I just think that's the best thing to do if it's a new head coach. Now, if it's Rich Bisaccia, all bets are off, and maybe he keeps both of them. But between the two, to me, Gus Bradley had a much, much better year.
Now, Ed, if you had to get into the mind of Mark Davis, and you're looking ahead to who can coach this team, who can lead this team further into the playoffs, is it Rich Bisaccia, or is there another candidate that you're looking at, especially considering that Mike Mayock has been fired?
I'll tell you, I wrote about this for the paper as well. John Gruden had all the power, right? He was essentially the GM and the coach, even though Mike Mayock had the label as GM. I think that will be a huge mistake if Mark Davis does that again. There's only one Bill Belichick in my mind who can do both jobs and do it well. I think this team needs a general manager to do player personnel, to draft, to sign free agents, to go after trades. Then I think they need a head coach who's more the CEO of all things that happen on the field. So if I'm Mark Davis, I make it very clear that I'm going to split those duties this time and not give one guy all the power. We've heard of Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh, to me, other than Mike Tomlin, would be a terrific hire as a head coach. Does Jim Harbaugh want to come without not having all power? I don't think he does. He's going to have any kind of juice of leverage in negotiations. So if it's not someone huge like Jim Harbaugh, I think you have to go get someone offensive-minded. My choice would be an offensive-minded coach to get a coordinator in there who can run a better offense and to have Gus Bradley stay on his defense. That's what would be my choice. I don't know what Mark Davis is thinking. I don't want to try to get in the head of Mark Davis at any time, but that's my call.
And Ed, we already know that they have reached out and asked for an interview with Gerard Mayo from the Patriots, former linebacker for them, who is also coaching the linebackers right now. What do you think about him if this is a direction that the Raiders choose to go?
I don't know much about Gerard, so I'm not going to speak to him personally. Again, he's a linebackers coach. That's a defensive-minded guy. I don't know what his past is, but if he's a smart guy, he would keep Gus Bradley on and go hire himself a really, really, really top-level offensive coordinator. Here, the one thing we're not talking about, and I know we're going to talk about this with the offense, is Derek Carr. Who's going to be the quarterback? If you're a GM, you want to hire your coach. If you're a hot coach, you want to decide who your quarterback is. Derek Carr has 1 year left on his contract, no dead cap money. They can move on from Derek Carr. So, again, that's going to be a lot of what goes into this coaching hire, I think. Who do you want as your quarterback? What do you think offensively? What's your strategy defensively? I don't know Gerard personally. Obviously, that's one of the persons they've been interested in early. But believe me, there's going to be some big names interested in this job, and it's going to be very interesting for you and I and everyone at the paper and all the media in town to follow this as it plays out.
There you have it for our grades for special teams and coaching. We're going to get into more here throughout the week with our Vegas Nation offseason series. We're going to go ahead and talk about defense, offense, give our grades there as well as we continue to analyze what happened in the 2021 season. For Ed Graney, I'm Heidi Fang. Thank you for watching.